This will be it. This is it. And when I say this is it, it really means this is it.
Michael Jackson's death wasn't just disturbing. According to some conspiracy theorists, it was planned. The King of Pop died under mysterious circumstances on June 25, 2009. But internet speculation has connected his death to the recent downfall of Sean Diddy Combs.
Find me an anesthesiologist to be with me here overnight and give me this IV. My doctor told me this is a safe medicine. I said, it is not a safe medicine. I just called a friend of mine. It has a multitude of side effects.
What started as a single comment in a 1995 interview has now exploded into elaborate theories linking two of music's biggest names through decades of alleged industry corruption.
He explained it's because of my catalog, which is my publishing, and they're after it, and they want it, and they want their hands on it, and they want to take it away from me.
Now, a growing number of voices are suggesting Michael's death was orchestrated by the same forces now being exposed in Diddy's federal case. So, let's get into it. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, into a working-class family that would soon discover they were raising the most talented child performer in music history. The fifth of 9 children, Michael grew up in a cramped house on Jackson Street, where dreams seemed impossible, but music filled every corner. Joseph Jackson, Michael's father, worked the steel mills during the day but had bigger ambitions for his sons. He formed the Jackson 5 in 1964 when Michael was just 6 years old. What started as neighborhood talent shows quickly escalated into something extraordinary when people heard Michael's voice. By age 8, he was performing in Chicago clubs, captivating audiences with a vocal range and stage presence that defied his age. The family's life changed forever in 1969 when Berry Gordy signed the Jackson 5 to Motown Records. Their first single, I Want You Back, hit number 1, followed by 3 more chart toppers. Michael became the face of the group, but success came with a price. While other children played, Michael was recording, touring, and performing. His childhood was essentially over before it began. The transition from child star to adult performer proved challenging. Michael struggled with his changing voice, his appearance, and the pressure to maintain relevance as he matured. The Jackson 5 left Motown for Epic Records in 1975, becoming the Jacksons. But Michael was already plotting his solo career. His 1979 album Off the Wall established Michael as a solo force, but it was Thriller in 1982 that transformed him into a global phenomenon. The album became the best-selling album of all time, producing 7 top 10 singles and making Michael the most famous person on the planet. The music videos, particularly for Billie Jean and Beat It, broke racial barriers on MTV and redefined pop culture. But fame at this level came with unprecedented scrutiny. Michael's every move was analyzed, his appearance dissected, his personal life invaded. He retreated to his Neverland Ranch in 1987, creating a fantasy world where he could recapture the childhood he never had. The ranch became both his sanctuary and eventually the source of his greatest troubles. By the early 1990s, Michael's eccentricities had become tabloid fodder. His relationships, his medical procedures, his reclusive lifestyle, everything was fair game for media speculation. The man who had once been universally beloved was now viewed with suspicion and fascination in equal measure. This was the Michael Jackson who would face his greatest crisis in 1993, when allegations would forever change how the world saw the King of Pop. In June 14, 1995, Michael Jackson sat down for what would become one of the most analyzed interviews in entertainment history. ABC's Primetime Live with Diane Sawyer drew 60 million viewers, all watching to see if the King of Pop could salvage his reputation after 2 years of scandal. The 1993 allegations had destroyed Michael's public image. Jordan Chandler's family had accused him of child molestation, leading to a criminal investigation that dominated headlines for months. Though no charges were filed and the case was settled out of court, the damage was done. Michael's career was in ruins, his endorsement deals vanished, and his every move was scrutinized by a media-feeding frenzy. Now, he was trying to rebuild. The interview was meant to show a different side of Michael, a married man who had found stability with Lisa Marie Presley. But Diane Sawyer had other plans. She went straight for the controversial topics. Would he continue having children sleep over at Neverland Ranch? Did he understand why parents were concerned? Michael's answers became increasingly defensive as the pressure mounted. When Sawyer pressed him about the sleepovers, Michael insisted everything was pure and innocent. He told her that if people were looking for misconduct, they should look at someone else, specifically mentioning a guy down the street, because it wasn't him. Sawyer moved on quickly to other topics, but that phrase would echo for decades. In 1995, before widespread internet access, most viewers heard it as a simple deflection. Michael was telling accusers to look elsewhere because he wasn't guilty of anything inappropriate. But as the years passed and online communities grew, that single reference took on new meaning. Internet users began dissecting every word, searching for hidden messages in Michael's response. Forums dedicated to celebrity conspiracy theories latched onto his mention of the guy down the street as evidence that Michael knew something the public didn't. The speculation intensified as various scandals emerged in Hollywood over the following decades. Each new controversy brought fresh theories about who Michael might have been referring to. Chat rooms and message boards filled with elaborate explanations connecting his words to different industry figures. By the time social media exploded in the 2000s, Michael's comment had become the foundation for countless conspiracy theories. Users created detailed timelines, analyzed his body language, and searched for connections between his words and later events in the entertainment industry. What started as a defensive response in a difficult interview had transformed into something much larger, a supposed warning that conspiracy theorists claim went unheeded for years. And then, the internet found the photo. One frame, two men. And suddenly, the conspiracy had a face. The image shows both men at what appears to be an industry party, standing together in black suits, captured in a moment that internet theorists have analyzed frame by frame for over a decade. The problem with using this photo as evidence of some deeper connection is that the actual story behind it undermines most conspiracy theories rather than supporting them. In 2009, just months before Michael Jackson's death, Diddy appeared on The Late Show with David Letterman and provided context for exactly how this encounter happened. According to his account, he was hosting a party when something unexpected occurred that surprised everyone in attendance. Michael Jackson had arrived unannounced. No invitation had been extended. No advance notice given to security or event organizers. He simply showed up at the venue, creating a stir among both guests and staff who weren't prepared for such a high-profile surprise appearance. The reason for Michael's unexpected visit wasn't business-related or confrontational, according to Diddy's explanation on national television.
But then you don't see the shot of him whispering in my ear. Right after the shot was taken, he whispers in my ear. He says, "Where's Beyonce?"
Michael's entire mission that night was to see Beyonce. He had heard she would be at the party and wanted to meet her. It was that simple. No business agenda, no confrontation, no hidden motive beyond admiration for a fellow artist. Diddy described how Michael eventually found Beyonce among the crowd of celebrities and industry figures. The two superstars connected, and according to the host's recollection, they spent time dancing together, with Michael clearly enjoying the interaction he had come seeking.
He came to the party to holler at Beyonce. This was before Jay-Z, though, you know what I'm saying?
The photograph that emerged from this encounter shows just a brief moment of what was apparently a longer evening. Michael achieved his goal of meeting Beyoncé, and the party continued around them. By all accounts, it was an innocent celebrity encounter, one superstar wanting to connect with another. But in the years that followed, this single image would take on significance far beyond its original context. The photo would be analyzed, shared, and reinterpreted countless times across social media platforms and online forums. The fact that Michael had appeared uninvited added an element of mystery to the encounter. Why show up unannounced just to meet Beyoncé? Why not arrange a proper introduction through industry channels? These questions would linger long after both men had left the party, turning a simple celebrity meeting into something that seemed more meaningful than it actually was. For two of the most iconic figures in music history, the public moments between Michael Jackson and Sean Diddy Combs are surprisingly rare. No collaborations, no public statements about each other, no red carpet appearances side by side. But that silence, to many, speaks volumes. The mystery only deepens when people start looking at how often their paths could have crossed. Two dominant forces in music, both controlling entire eras, both with access to the same stages, parties, award shows, and global platforms. And yet, nothing but that one photograph. That one moment in 2009 when Michael walked into Diddy's party, uninvited, and asked for Beyoncé. Some believe that was intentional, that Michael didn't associate with Diddy for a reason, that the absence of a relationship is the relationship, that Michael stayed away from certain people for a purpose because he knew more than he let on. The internet has built entire threads around that distance. How Michael, despite being deeply embedded in the industry, never spoke Diddy's name in public. How Diddy, even at the peak of his visibility, never once mentioned a personal bond with Michael. How no one in either man's inner circle has ever confirmed a friendship or a feud. That silence is where the theories grow, and that silence is what keeps the conversation alive. People aren't just asking why Michael never worked with Diddy. They're asking what he might have seen, what he might have heard, what made him drop that guy down the street line, and then never explain it. Even in the years leading up to Michael's death, there's no mention of Diddy in Michael's orbit. And when Diddy did speak publicly about Michael, it was respectful, like in the tribute track Better on the Other Side that dropped right after Michael passed. On that track, Diddy said,
"You made the world dance. You made the music come to life."
But even that wasn't personal. It was a eulogy from one icon to another, a cultural gesture, not something that hinted at a bond or a shared past or any deeper knowledge. And from Michael's side, there was total silence. No interview where he name-drops Diddy, no diary entry, no song lyric, nothing that suggests he thought of Diddy at all. To those following the clues, it doesn't matter that there aren't studio credits or tour history. It doesn't matter that there's no official timeline. What matters is that Michael's words and his actions left something behind, a suggestion, a feeling, a message hidden in plain sight. The party photo was the only visual crossover, but the real story, many believe, is in the moments that never happened. And now, as Diddy faces the most serious allegations of his career, the silence between him and Michael Jackson is being reread like a prophecy. Now, there's a reason this theory won't die, and it's not just because Michael Jackson and Diddy are two of the most famous names in music history. It's because the line, "Go to the guy down the street," feels loaded, especially now. In a world drowning in headlines, lawsuits, and leaked court documents, people are searching for meaning in the past. They're going back through interviews, clips, and offhand comments, looking for signs, warnings, clues they might have missed, and that one sentence from Michael keeps floating to the top. It was vague, it wasn't specific, but it was sharp, and to many fans, it felt intentional. With Diddy now tied to allegations that include and coordinated intimidation campaigns, Michael's quote reads like a mirror. A man in 1995 pointing the finger. Not at himself, but at someone else. Someone close, someone protected, someone down the street. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson died at his rented mansion in Holmby Hills, Los Angeles. He was 50 years old. The cause of death was acute propofol intoxication, administered by his personal doctor, Conrad Murray. Michael had been preparing for his comeback tour, This Is It, 50 concerts scheduled at London's O2 Arena starting in July 2009. The shows were meant to be his return to the stage after years away from performing. Tickets had sold out within hours, and the tour was projected to gross over $400 million. But Michael was struggling. He had lost significant weight and was dealing with chronic insomnia. To help him sleep, Dr. Murray had been giving him propofol, a surgical anesthetic, in his bedroom. This was extremely dangerous. Propofol should only be used in medical facilities with proper monitoring equipment. On the morning of June 25th, Murray gave Michael several sedatives that didn't work. Around 10:40 a.m., he administered propofol through an IV drip. Murray later claimed he left the room briefly and returned to find Michael not breathing. Paramedics arrived but couldn't revive him. Michael was declared dead at UCLA Medical Center at 2:26 p.m.
Update you now on tonight's breaking news. Multiple media outlets are now reporting that pop singer Michael Jackson has died.
The investigation showed Murray had been reckless. He had no proper medical equipment, no backup personnel, and was essentially running an operating room in Michael's bedroom. In 2011, Murray was convicted of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to 4 years in prison, serving 2 years. The official story was medical negligence, a doctor who made fatal mistakes trying to help his patients sleep. But as Diddy faces federal charges for alleged crimes spanning decades, some people have started questioning whether there was more to Michael's death. Cat Williams has been vocal about his doubts regarding the official narrative. The comedian believes Michael didn't die from medical malpractice, but was eliminated by powerful industry figures who saw him as a threat. According to Williams, Michael knew he was in danger and left clues about his fate. Williams points to the name of Michael's final tour as evidence.
And the fact of the matter is, we watched this nigga get murdered right in front of our own face. And the nigga knew it was finna happen. He told us, and we didn't know. He named his last tour, This Is It.
Cat pointed out how the announcement didn't sound like a celebration. It sounded like a man giving up. A man who'd been fighting the system for decades and knew he wouldn't make it out alive. Months later, Michael was dead. The tour never happened. To Cat Williams, that was never a coincidence. He believes Michael had become a threat, not just because of his fame, but because of the influence he carried, and that the very system he spent years fighting back against finally silenced him. And now, that same system is being named in lawsuits tied directly to Sean Diddy Combs. Cat wasn't the only one who made the connection. Conservative commentator Candace Owens brought Michael's name up again, this time directly linking it to the current Diddy scandal. On her podcast, Owens claimed the industry's silence around Diddy's case mirrors the same type of media manipulation seen during Michael Jackson's final years. She went further, suggesting that certain individuals who were close to Diddy have also been tied to Michael Jackson's security detail at the time of his death. Candace didn't stop there. She questioned why no one in mainstream media is paying attention, why no headlines, why no accountability, and she didn't mince words. In the caption of her YouTube upload, she doubled down, saying there's a deliberate effort by Hollywood and the media to suppress stories like Diddy's, that there's a dark agenda protecting powerful figures, and that this isn't just about one man, it's about an entire structure. And at the center of her comparison was Michael Jackson. To Owens, the same machinery that propped Diddy up for decades is the same one that helped destroy Michael. Same tactics, same silence, same shadow network of handlers, fixers, and threats. It's terrifying to consider, but the people protecting Diddy today may have been the same ones who were around Michael Jackson in his final hours. To the public, Michael was eccentric, erratic, isolated. But to people like Cat Williams and Candace Owens, he was someone who saw too much and paid the price for it. And now, with the lawsuits stacking up around Diddy, they're telling people to pay attention. Because this time, it's not just about money or headlines. It's about who gets to stay powerful and who gets taken out for knowing too much. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.